Okay, so I didn't plan to make this video, nor is this really a video talking about what is going to happen. This is just speculation. It is just responding to a few Twitter threads that I had seen that I found very intriguing. And at the end of the day, you know, I never really try to proclaim myself as some journalist who knows all the things about the NHL or whatever. I'm just a dude, I'm just a fan sitting in his bedroom that has opinions about the sport and is willing to share it here on YouTube. That's kind of all I am. So when it comes to a topic like this, when I saw this pop up on my Twitter feed, I kind of freaked out a little bit because I had to reread it twice, thrice, go over to the source, and then think to myself, wait a minute, is that actually going to happen? So, I just wanted to share some thoughts with you here regarding some Bo Horvat talk, as well as, okay, we're talking about the talk. Let's talk about the talkette as well, before we head into tonight's game against the Edmonton Oilers, then which starts at 7 p.m. PST. The Canucks have themselves what is probably going to be Bruce Boudreau's last game on tap. This is what David Pagnotta said on the fourth period on Twitter. In the worst-kept secrets department, all signs point to tonight being Bruce Boudreau's last game as Canucks head coach. A Monday press conference to officially announce the coaching change is expected, with Rick Tocchet, who arrives in Vancouver this weekend, being set to take over. Now, again, like we had talked about last night, it is absolutely despicable that Bruce Boudreau has been subjected to this sort of treatment by the Vancouver Canucks, where everybody knows his replacement is coming, everybody knows who his replacement is, everybody knows he's got a very short leash. And it's been like this for the past few weeks. It's been terrible. So when it comes to Bruce, obviously sympathy goes out to him. We know that he is a great dude, just a very likable personality, one of the more likable coaches the Canucks have had in a very long time. And so seeing the way the organization has treated him, it's very bad. And of course, we wish Bruce the best in his endeavors when he inevitably does get the can, because we know it's going to happen soon. But that apparently is going to happen after today's game against the Oilers. It's interesting because you saw the comments from Tyler Myers last night regarding the Colorado game, talking about how there's so much noise and how the players felt that on the bench, on the ice. And now you have yourselves a guy in Boudreau who everybody knows is going to get fired, trying to motivate a team that is kind of feeling the heat right now. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I like the Canucks, they're my favorite team, but the Oilers, oh my goodness, Connor McDavid's gonna have himself a feast here tonight. But that's not what we're talking about in this video. We'll talk about the game after it is done. But when it comes to what I wanted to talk about, let's go over to the Canucks captain, Bo Horvat. And the reason we're talking about Horvat is because of Seattle Kraken trade rumors. You see, when it comes to all the NHL insiders that are spewing out teams that could be potential suitors for Horvat, teams that want this guy, etc., etc., the name that pops up more often that I have seen than others, you've got Boston, you've got Colorado, and you've got Seattle. There was a conversation about Carolina in there, how they didn't want to give up Martin Necas. There are a few other teams that have sort of entered the mix as well. A lot of teams apparently checking in on the Canucks and the Horvat situation, but the Seattle Kraken seem to be a team that have really, really wanted him. This is what Donnie and Dolly said the other day. One team I've been told that has been consistently in the pursuit of Horvat is Seattle, Rick Dollywall mentions from the 18th. This is a tweet that I also wanted to show you here today from Irfan Gaffar. If you're a GM and you want to improve your hockey club, you wouldn't be doing your job if you didn't call the Canucks on Bo Horvat. That said, the price is steep, and there have been over a handful of teams with very serious interest, especially within the last week. This is where Busey Gross comes in. They're the runner of BuseyOT.com, and you can see that the Twitter page here has 400,000 followers. They're pretty popular. Now, followers exclusively doesn't mean you're an insider, but the tweet that they posted in regards to this Bo Horvat thing got a lot of people quite curious as to what the situation might actually entail. They replied to this Irfan Gaffar tweet saying this: "Nothing, technically, but included is an image of one Seattle Kraken player who is unfortunately not a Seattle Kraken player right now. He is a Windsor Spitfire, Shane Wright." This tweet had 380,000 views and a whole bunch of likes, a whole bunch of retweets. A lot of people in the replies to this saying, "Don't do this, don't promote hope." Daniel Winnick says, "This makes zero sense to me. Yes, Horvat is a great player having a career year, but you don't send Shane Wright and a draft pick for Bo Horvat. Wait to sign him in the offseason if that's the acquisition cost." And we also had ourselves a Twitter thread from Cam Robinson responding to this entire Shane Wright thing as well. This doesn't need to be said out loud, but I'm saying it out loud anyway. If Seattle is willing to dangle Shane Wright for Bo Horvat, you need to get Bo off the ice right now, cover him completely in bubble wrap, and put him in a padded room until the deal is complete. And I would frankly happen to agree. I'm not going to go out there and say that Shane Wright is, like, going to come to Vancouver in a Horvat trade or whatever, but, like, because the idea was tossed out there, why not make a hypothetical trade scenario out of it? Why not? Shane Wright is a guy whom I've been very adamant has franchise-caliber potential, and I'm still going to be using that word, because when it's paired with the word potential, you could technically say whatever the heck you want. Shane Wright is a guy that is not an NHL player in terms of where he plays, but is likely an NHL player already in terms of his talent profile. You saw what the guy did at the World Juniors, you saw the beauty backhand out there, you're seeing what he's doing in the OHL right now after getting sent down and not having burnt off the first year of that ELC. I've said this many times in the past, but the Kraken have kind of done the Shane Wright thing perfectly, in that they were able to give this guy extended development in the NHL, AHL, World Juniors, and kept him away from the Kingston Frontenacs, who didn't really give him the proper opportunity to develop because they relied on him so much, and instead, they allowed him to get his cup of coffee at the NHL, play in the AHL, prove that he could dominate over there, do the thing at the World Juniors, and now he's on a stacked OHL team where he can actually do the development thing right. Actually go out there and develop his offensive side. This is a player whose season has been so up and down, but has also been sort of perfect in a way that if the Vancouver Canucks were to acquire a guy like Wright and decide to leave him in the OHL, I feel like this could be the start of something extraordinarily special. I still believe that Elias Pettersson is a franchise-caliber forward. Quinn Hughes, franchise-caliber defining defenseman. If Shane Wright lives up to what he could be, this guy is the ultimate return for a Bo Horvat trade. Like, I'm sorry Fabian Lysell in Boston. I'm even sorry Martin Necas in Carolina. But Shane Wright and what he could be supersedes what I think a lot of those other guys could be. Now, of course, it's all potential-based. Shane Wright is not that right now, but this was the guy that just a year ago, a lot of people were saying should have been the first overall pick and was going to be quote-unquote better than Alexis Lafreniere. Now, Lafreniere, of course, did not really do all too well in the NHL in his early career, but at the same time, the hype exists for a reason. If Shane Wright becomes all that he could be, then the Vancouver Canucks do not need to worry about that second-line center argument for the next decade, pretty much. Because Elias Pettersson and Shane Wright as a 1-2, or maybe Wright and Pettersson instead, is a pairing that I think would rival the top center pairings in the entire NHL, bar none, because both of these guys could become, let's say, 100-point caliber players if they hit their ceilings. Plus the fact that Wright is right-handed, Pettersson is left-handed, you could have both of the power play options on the side. This is a very deadly type of idea, and I think if the Canucks end up doing something like this, like, let's say it is Horvat for Wright in a package of something else or whatever, but, like, if the Canucks are able to do that, then all of a sudden, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable with the team signing JT Miller over Bo, keeping Miller and not extending Bo, because if you had tried to do the opposite, let's say the Canucks re-sign Bo, he ends up popping off, and Miller is where he is right now, but without a contract for next season, you wouldn't have been able to trade Miller for a guy like Wright, as unfortunately as it is. Of course, the best-case scenario would probably have to have been re-signing Bo and trading Miller away for something, walking away with PD, Bo, and whatever that something is, but with the circumstances bestowed upon the Canucks right now with the decision to re-sign Miller already in the rearview mirror, this is the next best thing. If the Canucks get Shane Wright, then boy, oh boy, will I have a lot more faith restored in the Aquilini-Alvin regime. But talk to the cons all your thoughts. I don't know if this is really going to happen, but if you think it is, let me know in the comments what your opinions are. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99. Canucks game later today at 7 p.m. PST. We'll probably come in with a post-game video as we always do, even though they're getting so draining to make because the Canucks are very bad to watch. And bye.